Welcome back to Game Day Jays. I'm your host, Nick Jambrosic, and we gotta talk. Because right now, we're bad. Like, I was hoping to avoid this talk for as long as possible, but after watching that performance in Houston, we need to address it. Because when a 39-year-old is the best hitter on our team, we got a problem. 26 of 27 innings held scoreless. 26 and 2/3, really. Unless you count Davis Schneider, the walk-off bomb, thank God, in the top of the ninth with 2 outs. Other than that, we would have been shut out 3 games in a row. Team batting average over the last 3 games, 106. I heard after the game they're saying 6 of our top guys, they're hitting below 200. 9 for 85 over the series. And the book is out. Or should I say, the movie. Trouble with the changeup. Oh my God. Did Houston ever figure us out with that pitch? We couldn't hit a changeup for the life of us. But it wasn't just the changeup. It was everything. We couldn't hit anything. I'll give it to them first game. First game, Jays knew it. We just got to forget about it. The no-no, shit's over with, said and done, over. And then game 2, of course, what else? We run into Framber Valdez. Guy threw an absolute gem that game. He is who he is. He's one of the best pitchers in the game, and he showed it. Can't really take away too much from the at-bats that game. As much as they weren't great, we went up against some elite pitching, and no matter who you put up at the plate, no matter what team it was, everyone would have been struggling against those 2 guys at the top of their game. That's just baseball. Good pitching wins ball games, and they beat us bad those 2 games. And yesterday, I was really hoping for a change of luck because I predicted it before the game. I thought that Javier was going to be hittable, and he was. He was very hittable. But like the first game, they knew what was going on. They knew that if they threw us enough changeups and switched up our rhythm at the plate, they would get to us. I think they threw 34% changeups in the first game and about 33% changeups last night by the starters. And man, do we look lost. That approach that we started to have in Tampa was just gone. We were looking for pitches that we wanted to hit. You know, if you don't see anything, get 2 strikes on you and then just swing at anything. But man, we got pitches that we were looking for and we didn't swing it. And then we got pitches that weren't even close and we were swinging. Vladdy had some terrible at-bats last night. Really, the only guy hitting, like I said, is Justin Turner. Springer, after Tampa Bay, nowhere to be found. Guerrero, nothing. Bichette, surprisingly, nothing. And then the guy that did something wasn't even in the lineup. John Schneider before the game says, guys, it's early. Everyone's going to get their chance. Everyone's going to get a lot of at-bats, but are we tired of hearing it's early yet? It is, but it seems like that's our ongoing excuse. What do we need to do at the plate to get more effective at-bats? Because that bottom of the lineup right now is looking like shit. Kirk, I don't even think I've seen you hit one hard ball all year. Varsho, you got a double last night, but other than that, you've been doing nothing too. I think Varsho's having some sort of swing difficulties at the moment because he just doesn't look fluid in the box. I think he's just coming up through the pitch rather than driving through it. Kirk is just a lost dog up there. I don't even know what he thinks he's doing. It's just weak contact after weak contact, and he can't even beat out balls that anyone else in the league could beat out because he's slow. Kiner Falefa is one of the guys that's been giving us somewhat solid at-bats. He's doing his job at the bottom of the lineup. He's drawing some walks, and he's getting some timely hits and just doing whatever he can to try to get on base. But then when he does and turns over the order, we got nothing. Biggio, same thing. He's been okay, hitting 176. Did nothing last night, drew a walk. But Javier was hittable, like I said. We got 5 walks on the guy and 1 hit. And when you're a team that knows you're struggling at the plate, you got to manufacture runs. You can't just sit back and just wait for that guy to get that timely hit. You got to try to bunt the ball. You got to try to choke up 3-4 inches on the bat just to get it in play. Try to get it out of the outfield. If you get a walk, try a hit and run. Try stealing bases for the life of you. If you got to try to take a long swing to hit the catcher's mitt, hit the catcher's mitt. Do whatever you can to get on base. And we got no effort up there. We don't have a desire to get on base. And that needs to change. Because our starting pitching, it hasn't even been to where we know it can be. And they're keeping us in games. The only guy that's really been on top of things so far is Kevin Gausman. But Kevin Gausman is Kevin Gausman, and we know what we got with him. Bassett, 2 starts, he's been shaky. He's not quite finding the groove with all of his pitches, and his best pitch last night was that slow curveball. When a slow curveball is the best pitch you're throwing, it's not going to be a great night. But he was battling, and that's what a good starting pitcher does. He kept us in that ball game. He had 2 runs scored off of us, and it was really one guy that beat us. Same thing the night before. One guy beat us. Our pitching's not the problem. I'll talk about the bullpen in a second, but our starting pitching isn't it. They're going to keep us in games, and we got to know that. We just can't sit back and wait for that hit. Barrios, same thing. He improved on his last start. We had Yordan Alvarez last night. That is just one of the best hitters I think I've ever watched. His approach at the plate is something I think Vladdy needs to be watching and admiring and taking notes, because that dude knows how to mash a baseball. If I was on the mound, I wouldn't even know where to pitch to that guy. Like, I'd be scared shitless. You can't pitch him up. You can't pitch him out. You can't pitch him in. You can't throw him a breaking ball. You can't throw him a fastball. The guy's just going to fucking rake. So what do? And he's the only guy that really beat us, because once we got into that bullpen, the team was already defeated. The game was lost. And it was over at that point. I had to stop watching. And mind you, this isn't going to be a pitch-by-pitch, inning-by-inning recap, because I was just sick of that shit last night. I can't do that. I can't put myself through that again, and I don't want to put you through that again. We just got to get better at the plate. And hopefully, we can transition something going into New York, because we sure as hell need to. But then again, I'm going to talk about Davis Schneider again. Guy gets a game-winning hit. I think I got off topic, so we're going back to him. Game-winning hit. He's hot. So is Ernie Clement. Ernie Clement's swinging a hot bat. Both those guys not in the lineup. I think we got to ditch the mentality of looking at stats and matchups and go with who's hot, because we did that all last year, and look where it got us. Absolutely nowhere. We got to figure out who can hit a baseball today and roll with it, because no one on this lineup's safe. I think if you're not hitting, I don't care who you are, you're riding the bench. I'm at a loss for words, guys. I really am. But at the same time, last time, I'll say it. It's early. 7 games at a 162. We're 3-4. We're not 0-7. We're 3-4. We played 2 really good ball clubs. We got the series split in Tampa. We lost the series in Houston. We'll get over it. The fact that this team hasn't even remotely come close to playing their best baseball, and we're still right about 500 against real good ball clubs, is a good sign, because that good baseball is coming. And if you're expecting this team to be anything like that 2021 team or that 2015 team, because man, did they ever get us used to that. Lots of home runs, lots of run producing. We're not that team anymore. We got to get that out of our heads and accept the fact that we are who we are. We got to get those greasy runs. We got to understand that we need to play more aggressive, and we can't rely on those big timely hits to manufacture runs when we just got to go out there and get them. We got to make the other team make errors. And that's not something I'm seeing. John's got to allow this team and coach this team to be more aggressive out there. I want to talk about Kirk some more, because Kirk, as much as he's struggling at the plate, still hasn't thrown a guy out. Yeah, he got two guys the other night. But the one guy fell, and Altuve made a base running error. A straight steal to second base. This guy is over. I don't know what you got to do, but go to the gym. Start working out your throwing arm. Throw with weighted balls. Do anything you can. Like, you are a professional, and you know that this is a weakness in your game, and we cannot afford to let guys be running the bases like that all year long. I cannot wait for Danny Jansen to get back, because you guys got to split games. This is a lot of games for you to start the year, and I'm glad they put Brian Serven in at the end of the game, because that's my starting catcher game 1 in New York. Kirk, you should be on the bench that game. I think you need a couple days off to reset, spend some serious time in the hitting cage, along with the rest of the team, and work on that arm. Work on that pop time. Do everything you can to get every sort of advantage to throw that guy out. And last night, I just want to talk about the 5th inning, because Kevin Kiermaier came up to the plate. He got a walk. And we actually tried our very first hit and run. It took us 7 games to try that. I know we haven't been on base a ton, but 7 games to try to play somewhat aggressive baseball is just unacceptable. He fouled off the first pitch when he tried to run, so I thought that was it. But I'm happy to see Kevin stuck with the plan and took a straight steal to second base. He ended up getting next guy ended up getting a deep fly ball, and Kevin stayed aggressive. Took third base, slid in there, beat the throw. He gave us an opportunity to manufacture a run based on a walk. We got a guy on third base from a walk and aggressive base running. We need more of that. Now let's talk about the bullpen. Having Tim Mayza as our only lefty in the pen that series was not very fun. I'm happy that last game was it for Genesis Cabrera's suspension. He served his 2 games. We're going to have him back in New York. But that also raises a question of how strong is our bullpen? Because they clearly were not last night. It shows you that we're struggling without Eric Swanson. And yeah, it sucks not to have Romano, but at the same time, we're not going to need him if we can't score runs. So we got to figure out what the hell we're doing, because these starting pitchers can only keep us in so many ball games for so long before we need this bullpen to consistently back them up. That brings a question. Do we bring Ricky Tiedemann up? I'd love to see it. I'd absolutely love to see it. I think we're wasting him in the minor leagues right now. I know we got to give him work. I know he needs to, get better in his location or improve that. But like they said, these guys in the minors and majors are farther apart than they've ever been before. So by giving him a start in the bullpen and letting him get that experience inning by inning instead of an entire start, that'll be huge for him. So I feel like we really need to give him that opportunity, and let's see what that kid can do, because I think he's a chef in the kitchen, just ready to start cooking. Now, we're on to New York, a park we play good in. We got to remember that. It's 2 series, guys. 1 week of baseball. First game in New York, we got Kikuchi versus Stroman. These guys got into New York late after the last Houston game, and you better believe that they've been hitting the tunnels. They know that they're going to get a ton of changeups. We got Marcus Stroman on the mound for the Yankees, and we know a lot about him, but he knows a lot about us. We're going to get sinkers and sliders and slurves and curves and all sorts of spinning pitches low and in the zone all game. What are we going to do with it? We either get on him early and get those crucial hits and force him to hit the zone, or we take walks, or we're going to look silly again, and it's going to be another repeat of Houston. These guys know that it's a big series coming up. I think what we just saw in Houston is going to be a thing of the past. Like I said, we got to get used to this team not just dominating. We can't go to the plate thinking that we're the New York Yankees, because they have way more firepower. We're not them. We got to realize who we are and find our new place in the league and just establish that and work as a team better. Because I was listening to the Gate 14 guys too, and they're right on with this. No other team in the MLB has a slump like the Jays, because when guys are on a slump, they slump as a whole team. It's not just a couple guys, it's every single guy in the lineup. So we got to keep having those one or two guys each night that stay productive, and not just Justin Turner. Like, I'm talking about other guys, please. Vladdy, Bo, Springer. Springer's still going to see the ball well. I'm not really concerned about that. So they're going to go into New York, fresh mindset, big series underway. If we can take 2 games in New York, which I know we can, we're going up against Stroman, and they did take the pitchers down for the second 2 games. I just noticed that because we had Gosman versus Schmidt in game 2 and Francis versus Heel in game 3. So they got rid of those 2 matchups on MLB. Wonder if they're playing around with the pitching rotation a little bit. I wonder if they're going to give Gosman an extra day of rest and put him in game 3 in that series, and maybe do a bit of a bullpen game on day 2. So we'll see what Schneider's got cooking up. But I'm excited for this series. This is another AL East series. This is another chance to make up ground. And we're not out of it, guys. We're not. So stay in there. I promised I wouldn't say it's early anymore, so that I'm not. But we just got to get through these growing pains. And we still haven't had a home game. So let these guys get home. Joe Siddall was saying last night, it takes about 80 to 100 at-bats to really get used to, or really get into the season. But I'm impatient, just as the rest of you are. I can't wait that long. They really got to get something. And yeah, let's go into New York with our heads up, forget about it, and show us what kind of baseball we can play. So that's about it for today. I'm happy to have that series over with, and let's come back tomorrow night tomorrow afternoon. They're playing at 1:50, I think, so I'll be on later in the night talking about the game. So hopefully I can come back on here with a lot more positive things to say about the team. Let's get those bats going and have some fun out there. I really want to see these guys smile, and I want to see them have a good time. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.